Hello and welcome to Results May Vary. I'm Joe,
I'm Liam.
and we just got back from watching Weapons. I don't even really know what to say about that movie.
I don't know either, bro.
It's pretty crazy.
It was slow at first, and like it was just not very. I don't know. It was just kind of off and weird. But as it got going,
It didn't stop. It just
it
kind of
just kept getting worse.
It got
like in a good way though. Not like not. It wasn't bad. It was just like a train wreck. You couldn't look away from.
Train wreck you could not look away from. That is a great way to describe
it. It was pretty crazy.
Absolutely. So let's just go ahead and give it a review real quick before we jump into spoilers and stuff. I think that's probably a good idea. So I think it's a 7 out of 10.
I would give it either. I don't know. I'm still on the fence. Maybe like a 6.5, but I'd probably give it around a 6.5 or a 7. Like that,
yeah, I mean, it definitely had its issues. I think it was pretty boring,
especially
or not even boring. It was just weird.
In the beginning,
it didn't make any sense.
It was a little boring.
It was really like it was. So the tone that I thought we were going to go for was going to be more of a very serious horror movie.
Because like the trailer, whenever it shows like all the kids running out, whatever, it was like, this is really unsettling. And then when it shows it in the beginning, it wasn't. It had like the music going, and it was like it wasn't like necessarily bad, but it was just like, oh, this is not.
I don't know who it was. It almost sounded like Paul McCartney or like the Beatles or something.
Yeah, it was something weird like that.
It was so weird. And so you just see these kids with Naruto running.
Yeah, straight up Naruto running. Yeah,
with the Beatles playing, and you're just kind of like,
yeah, it was not the same vibe at all.
Not at all.
So weird.
Not at all. It is weird because it follows the main chick, and then like, it has like 5 different other characters that it follows.
Yeah, which was fine, but it's just I don't know, like just the way it was just the first character. I'm glad they started off with her because it was probably the weakest one in my opinion, like the weakest like plot point maybe, or like writing, whatever. But it just didn't. I don't know. I think it's because I was expecting the tone to be darker at that point, like more like serious, and like it kind of was. But then she like goes to the bar with the cop guy, and then you kind of see that she's kind of like crazy.
She's kind of
wacko, you know. And I was like, oh, okay, like
almost like a Karen.
She was literally a Karen,
like a modern day Karen. Yeah, I was like, literally Karen. Whatever. So. We're gonna go ahead and get into spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie yet and you want to watch it spoiler free, I would highly recommend stopping the video at this point, coming back and hearing the rest of it. So we're gonna go ahead and continue now with more of the spoilers section. So then we get to the town hall meeting. There we see the principal. He's talking to all the parents. Basically, they're getting school back up again. All the parents are all freaking out, and you can kind of hear Josh Brolin just screaming, "I want to talk to her.
Why was it only her room?"
Obviously, you see that in the trailer. So then she comes up there, the teacher, I forgot her name. What was her name?
The main one?
Yeah.
Justine.
Justine is the character name. She gets up there, and she's obviously freaked out because all the parents are yelling and screaming, getting mad. So you kind of follow her, and you can obviously see that she's shaken up. She's freaking out. And this is a month later, I think, right? After the kids disappeared. And they're basically going to start school back up. And so they're having this town hall for the parents, whatever. But anyway, she's freaking out. Goes out to her car. They're having to like escort her off to school because all the parents are chasing her. She drives home, she drives to a liquor store first.
Yeah.
She goes to a liquor store first, which is kind of funny because the principal's like, whatever you do, the first thing you need to do, you need to get home. And she's like, of course. Liquor store.
Let me get some vodka first.
Yeah. So she goes to get vodka. Priorities. While she's going into the store, that's when we meet I forgot his name, Jimmy or Josh or the crackhead.
The crackhead.
So the crackhead's there asking money, like, yo, can I get some money for my brother? For meth. So you come to find out later. So she goes into the store. She is like doing stuff in the store. And either before or after she goes in the store, she sees a truck. And she kind of looks at it. And it's like obvious that someone's in it. We don't know who yet. Josh Brolin. And then
Thanos.
Yeah, Thanos. So then she goes back home, right? And while she's at home, this is where we have our first scary moment.
Spooky.
This is really spooky.
It's scary.
Someone rings her doorbell, while she's watching Shark Tank, which is great. So she's watching Shark Tank, and someone rings her doorbell. Nothing more terrifying than that. And then she goes out and looks, and is like, "Who's there?" She thinks somebody's going on the town's going to kill her. Nothing happens. Next thing you know, she's like peeking around trying to figure out, where's this person at? Do I see anybody? And then someone bangs on the door, which is like supposed to scare you. It's not very scary.
A little bit. I ain't gonna lie.
It got you? Yeah, it might get you. And that's kind of it. That's really the scene. She goes to bed, and then
no. She goes back out again. She sees the car.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So she goes outside to see what's going on. She grabs pepper spray. That's right.
Yeah.
She grabs pepper spray, runs outside. No one's there, but she sees her car, and on her car there's witch painted on the side of it, which is like, I guess technically our first hint.
Yeah.
Definitely some major foreshadowing there that's what's going on.
Yeah. I didn't really think about it.
I didn't think about it until
I was like, oh.
So then she goes back inside. After enough vodka, I guess she falls asleep. Starts having. Does she have a dream? What's she dream?
Yeah, she nightmared about.
She dreams. The classroom. She goes into the classroom because she's in the school. All the kids are down there with their heads down, like they're playing Heads Up 7 Up.
The part in the trailer. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the one kid who didn't disappear, which is Alex.
Alex, yeah.
He's in there, and that's when you see the trailer, and he smiles at her, all freaky weird, and then she like wakes up, and you think, oh, it's over, and then boom, jump scare. There's a weird person on the ceiling smiling at her, and then she wakes up for real this time, and nothing's there, which is another jump scare. Well, really, the only one so far, besides the loud banging on the door.
Yeah, that really counts.
So at this point, what happens? She starts going back to the school.
Yeah, she goes back to the school. I think
She goes back to the school.
Talk to the principal. She wanted to see if she could like see the kid. Alex.
Yeah, she's trying to see Alex because she, I guess, wants some sort of closure to the situation as to what's going on.
Because they're like the only two that like didn't get taken, so she wants to like kind of make sure he's all right. Or whatever, like that. Yeah.
And so then, the principal is basically like, "You're a weirdo. Quit being a creep. Like you have inappropriate behaviors with the students." And she's like, "I've only hugged them," and he's like, "Stop."
Yeah.
They stop talking to him. And so then she's like, okay.
Karen mode activated.
Yeah. And so then because she's upset, I guess, she goes to a bar.
Again. Well, not again.
Not again. She goes to an actual bar.
She goes drinking.
So she goes to a bar and she starts drinking, and then we are introduced to another character, the cop. I don't remember his name either.
Paul.
Paul. We're introduced to Paul the cop. Pretty quickly you realize Paul's married. She kind of makes a hint of like, oh, does she know you're here?
Donna.
And, so he's talking to her, and they're talking, and yada, yada, yada. Basically, she's like freaking out, tweaking, and he's like, you have an issue. You're an alcoholic. Surprise. The lady who went immediately after having her life threatened to a liquor store, and then immediately after that, after she had a horrible nightmare about her kids, to a bar, is an alcoholic. She drinks a lot in this movie.
Don't drink and drive, kids.
So, basically, he's like, oh, I'm not drinking because I'm sober. Drinks, wakes up in her house the next day, and again, it's just like, it's almost weird because you're expecting the whole time for this movie to be a horror movie.
And then there's just kind of
there's like this like
basic, kind of generic plot line going on.
Like relationship-y, like, I'm sleeping with you, but your wife doesn't know.
Yeah, this part was kind of boring to me.
It's just, it is what it is. It's kind of like a letdown because you're sitting there going, I thought I was going to get scared. So then, the next morning, when he wakes up in her house and you realize they slept together, it's kind of revealed that she's really with him so she can get more information on what happened to the kids, because she starts questioning him about it while she's dropping him back off at his car. And he starts to kind of get annoyed and frustrated. And so this kind of whole little stint, really all it leads to is her trying to still figure out what's up with this kid, right? So then she goes and she follows the kid home like a stalker. She literally just follows him home, goes to his house, kind of notices that the house is like
It's got like newspapers like on the windows and stuff like that.
So she's like, oh well, this is weird. I'm gonna go break into their house and look. So she breaks into the backyard, peeks into the window, and sees the two parents sitting on a couch in there, and it freaks her out, and it's like a jump scare. And then basically she runs away from the house, freaked out, calls the principal and tells him like, hey, this is weird stuff going on. Like, I was at his house, and the principal's like, why are you at his house? You moron. What are you doing?
I thought I was thinking the same
stay
thing.
Away. It's just like we all were thinking. Like, why are you being a creep? Like, you just stalked this little kid to his house after the whole neighborhood basically threatened to kill you because they think that you're responsible for kidnapping all of their children. And the one kid that you didn't get, you followed him home. Genius.
Horror movie logic.
Genius idea. So anyway, what this culminates to, because she couldn't get dumber enough, is she parks outside of the kid's house with a bottle of vodka and is just pounding it in the car while she watches the house.
Smart.
Perfect. So then she gets so drunk that she passes out in the car, falls asleep, and so now it's nighttime. And then we get our first, in my opinion, the first creepy moment of the movie, which really just made everyone in the movie theater laugh. Because what you see...
I feel like I honestly would have been like a little creeped out by it, but I don't know.
But the environment, like clearly... Yeah. The people that we were in the movie theater with,
they thought it was funny.
They thought it was funny, and hearing everybody else laugh at it, and you're kind of watching, and you're like,
yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a little goofy. It's a little goofy. So yeah, maybe if you're in a theater and you go watch it with people,
hopefully you get a better audience.
Our people here did not care at all.
Yeah.
And it was funny. It was goofy kind of looking. Because basically the door opens. And you see, I think it's the mom.
It's the mom.
The mom
of Alex.
Yeah,
the kid,
comes out of the house, but she walks like a zombie from Call of Duty.
Not even, bro. She just looked like
like
strung out
Frankenstein.
crackhead.
Kind of like a strung out like crackhead with scissors. She's holding a pair of scissors.
She's just going like that, pretty much.
That's what.
She looked like a homeless person in California.
So she runs up to her car while she's sleeping, because she's sleeping outside in the dark now, because she's been there for hours, passed out. And then you like see her come up to the window, and you think, oh, she's gonna break the window. And then she like sneaks around in the back of the car, and I will say this: whoever did the camera for all this stuff, whoever the director was pretty. It was pretty good.
It was pretty good
because the camera like stays on her, and then you just hear, and you hear the door open, and you're like, at that point, the entire theater was.
I thought she was just gonna like, just kind of like a smile jump scare and like just jumping like in front of the window or something, wake her up, and then you hear the door open. I was like,
everybody,
what was she doing?
The whole theater gasped when you hear that.
That was
pretty cool, because I was like, ooh, that's eerie. I like that.
That was pretty. I like that one.
So then you hear like moving around back there, and basically she cuts a piece of her hair off. We don't know why, but you just see kind of the scissors come out, and then she kind of just takes it away. So now we cut to Josh Brolin. It starts off with him sleeping on his kid's bed.
Yeah, it starts off with him, sleeping on his,
sleeping on his kid's bed.
His little Batman blanket.
Batman sheets. Love Batman. And he's like sleeping there, obviously, because his son's missing, right? His wife then opens the door and is like, I'm going to work now. Closes the door. So she's over his shit, obviously. I started dying. I was like, dang, lady.
It was just funny, dude. Just the delivery of that line.
So then he goes, like, he's obviously works construction or whatever, so he goes, like, his job site, and the guy that's running the site is like, yeah, we ordered the wrong stuff again. And he's like, oh, that's my bad. That's on me. I just realized I just smacked the crap out of this. So he's like, oh, that's on me. I'll fix it. And he's like, well, also, the paint is wrong. And he's like, oh, that's on me too. That's my bad, bro. I'll fix it. Luckily, he's the boss, so he doesn't get fired. So then you see him, he's like driving. He's supposed to go, he says, I'm going to go take the paint back. So he puts the paint in there, and it's red paint. Drives to the police station immediately. So he's back at the cops, and he walks into the cops, and he's like, where's my son? And they're like, we're working on it. And he's like,
what about that lady?
He's like, what about the teacher? He's like, what about the K9 units? how come they haven't told me anything yet? And he's like, because they don't work for you. That's not how this works. And then he's like, well, you told me you're investigating this to the full extent, but she's walking out there, that teacher. That Karen. Streets. And so basically the cop is like, look, dude, do you know anything we don't know? Because so far, we can't see anything that even indicates that she's kind of guilty.
Yeah.
And so Josh Brolin at that point is kind of like, okay,
you're right.
Okay. Well, I'm going to find something. So then he leaves. Yeah. So we go back to like the school meeting, and now it's from his perspective. So it cuts to him in the audience talking to her, which we kind of previously saw, but we didn't really see him. We just saw like her reaction to it. But now we're seeing him talking to her as like the main character from his point of view. Just going off like, why only her class? Why only you? Same thing.
We want to know what happened.
Yeah, it's that shot from the trailer.
I'm Thanos.
He starts snapping for some reason. So then, we see him, or after the meeting's over, he like goes straight to his truck, right? So then you see him basically follow her to that liquor store, which is revealed that he was the one in the truck when she looks over and sees the truck and is like, who's that? It's him. No real big surprise there. And then he follows her back to her house, and so that's when you realize that he was the one at the house. He was the one ringing the doorbell. He was the one knocking, and he's the one who painted on the side of her car because the color paint matches the wrong color paint that he got for the job site. So it's kind of revealed that. So he goes back to his house, goes to bed in his kid's bed again. And at this point,
the weird dream.
Has a dream. He starts to lucid dream, which just doesn't make any sense. And again, obviously, most of what we just described is not in any way a horror movie sounding at all. And it's just not. It's just not a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like in this, it's
very underwhelming.
It's good. I think it was good. And like the build up, okay. It's all culminating to the main event at the end.
I think once it got to Josh Brolin's character, it started getting a little better for me. But with the main chick,
I was kind of like she did a great job acting, but her character is purposely made up to be kind of like snooty.
I just wasn't expecting that like coming into it. I was like, okay, what's going on?
Like her character doesn't really pay off until later. Yeah. So at first you're kind of like, what are we watching right now? Yeah. But once Josh Brolin comes in, you start to see more of like the my kid's missing stuff. It gets better. He has this dream where he basically wakes up at the same time his kid went missing, and he sees his kid, right?
Yeah, he sees him like running out of the house.
Running out of the house, and like he's like being like his door's opening up, like as you would expect, like it happened for the kid, kind of. And so he starts walking down the stairs, goes outside, sees his kid run across the street, exactly like how he did in the Ring camera video, which is funny because they definitely did not want to say Ring at any point in that movie. They were just like, that video camera there on the
doorbell thingy.
The doorbell doohickey. It caught him.
Which kind of worked because
my Ring camera?
Josh Brolin's character. Like Josh Brolin's character kind of is like supposed to be like the kind of like older dad or whatever. So it kind of worked.
It's just funny.
It was funny though.
But anyway, so then you see the kid running into the woods. So Josh Brolin kind of chases him, and I can't remember. It basically he chases him to his own house, right?
Yeah, he chases him like through the trees,
through the woods. But then he's like back in front of his house, looking at his house again. So it's like a trippy, like little optical illusion thing. And this is the dumbest thing ever. But he basically looks up at the sky. And in the sky, floating above his house, is a giant gun,
like M4 AR type of rifle. Yeah,
just floating there, with the on the end of the barrel. It's the time that the kids.
Yeah, it was just like the most like
on the nose
symbolism I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's so dumb,
and it's like not even done very well. It's super like.
It quite literally looked like somebody just. It looked like a meme.
Like,
to be honest,
it looks like somebody put a meme above his house, and he's like sitting there going,
like somebody. I think someone's definitely gonna make like a trending meme of that clip.
Yeah,
like, there's no way that
it's gonna be a meme. It has to be because it's just.
It will be after this.
Just goofy, and then basically he wakes up he goes back into the house.
Oh no, he goes into the house in the dream.
Yeah, he goes into the house in the dream. Yeah. He goes to the bed and his son's laying in the bed, and so he basically is like spilling his heart out to his son, like, I'm so sorry, I wish I had more time, wish I could have said this to you. And then all of a sudden we get another jump scare. The light flashes and you see the same weird, creepy face that the chick saw in her dream, in his dream. He wakes up and he wakes up and is like, what the fuck? And the whole theater started laughing.
That part was funny.
So again,
it's pretty good.
Just more funny stuff.
Yeah.
And then at that point, he kind of gets the idea, I think, from the dream, like, where is he running to? So he looks at the Ring camera, pulls out a map, and starts drawing like a straight line. So then he goes to another person's house, gets their Ring camera stuff, draws another line, and sees that there's an intersecting point, and they're heading to the same place. So this is where he kind of gets the idea from, like, this is getting weird. So I think he's on his way to the cops, was my assumption. Is he's on his way to the cops to show them, like, look, I have this map in front of this thing. When he sees the teacher drive by in her car, which he now knows is her car because he painted witch on the side of it. And so she's pulling into a gas station. So that he walks up to her and is like, kind of confronts her and is like, what'd you do with the kids? What'd you do with the kids? And she's like, how dare you speak to me this way? Like, you're just going to come up to me and assault me and get all aggressive? And he's like, I'm not being aggressive. I'm just asking you a question. And she kind of like looks over his shoulder and she's like, oh my God, is that so-and-so? And it's the principal sprinting, Naruto running, towards them at the gas station. And Josh Brolin's kind of like, what? Rightfully so. And he basically bypasses him, just tackles her. Tackles her so hard it rips the gas pump out of the car, off of the gas tank. Gas is going everywhere. So Josh Brolin is just kind of like, okay. Starts grabbing the guy and fighting him to get him off of her. She runs away to go inside, and then the principal dude, his face is all bloodied up, messed up from something we don't know yet. He's on top of Josh Brolin, choking him out into the scene. And then we cut to the cop, Paul. Paul, the cop, is talking to his wife, Donna, who he's cheating on with the teacher. And she's just yapping. She's like, oh my God, we have a meeting with my parents? And he's sitting there going like,
He does not care, bro.
So it's more just kind of like the comedy stuff. Closes his locker. You figure out her dad is the chief of police. It's his boss. Yeah. So then he just goes into his boss, like, we're having anniversary dinner tomorrow, right? And the dude's like, yeah. And he's like, that's good, long time. He's like, are you calling me old? It's just funny. It's just more funny, goofy stuff. Yeah. So then he like goes out on patrol, right? He's on patrol doing his thing, and he sees the guy that was asking the chick for money, the crackhead Jimmy, or Josh, whatever his name is. We're going to call him Jimmy because I don't remember his name. So crackhead Jimmy sees him trying to break into a store. So he rushes at him, puts on his lights, and he's like, hey, stop right there. Typical cop fashion. Jimmy sees it and goes, and starts running. He starts sprinting away. So then he chases him down the road, and he finally catches up to him, tackles him, and he's doing the good cop thing. He's like, he tackles him on the ground, and he handcuffs him. He's like, you all right? You hurt? The cuff's too tight. And Jimmy's like, no, man, I'm good. He's like, I was just trying to get back in there. Like, I have the keys, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And the cop's like, all right, well, let's go over here to the car. So he puts him up against the back of the car, and he's like, all right, I got to search you. Do you have anything? Typical cop spiel. Do you have anything on you that I need to know about? And then he's putting his gloves on to reach into his pockets, and he's like, do you have anything in your pockets that's going to hurt me? And he's like, no, nothing. As soon as he reaches his hand in his pocket, which I knew was going to happen, he's like, oh! And then there's a needle in there.
Yep.
Clearly a used heroin needle or something like that.
Yeah.
And he just instantly, you see him look at his glove and there's blood, and he's like, what? Sees literal red, looks at him, and just doosh, knocks him straight out. And kind of has a moment of realization like, I might have AIDS.
And then he sees
the camera.
The camera on the dash camera on the police car, realizing that it was looking at them the entire time.
And has that realization of, I'm a cop who just knocked a handcuffed dude out for no reason. Mm-hmm. And he's like, crap. So he quickly wakes Jimmy back up. And is like, hey man, look, let's make a deal. I was never here. You were never here. Let's just call it a game. But if I ever see you around here again, I'll kill you. And Jimmy's just kind of like, okay, man, yeah. And that's the end of that.
Typical Jimmy.
So then, Paul, the cop, his wife Donna being out of town, while he's coming back to the station after all this happens, he sees the teacher, because the teacher's there filing a police report about her car having paint on it. And at this point, it's kind of obvious that they've been seeing each other at some point or another. She texts him and was like, hey, you should come meet me tonight. So that's when he meets her at the bar. So that kind of skips things ahead. Paul comes home the next day. So this is after she had dropped him off. And his wife is home. Immediately she's like, you're not even supposed to drink. You're supposed to be sober. Why are you drunk? Where have you been? And she instantly figures it out, obviously. Paul goes back to work the next day. He's having a hard time, obviously, because everything's just going on. He told the chief of police, like, hey,
I messed up.
This is what happened. He was like, you need to make sure you don't have anything wrong, AIDS or anything now. That kind of stuff. Also, then his wife obviously had told him what was going on, so he just keeps giving this mean look the next day when he comes back. And so Paul's about to go outside, and he's starting to leave the police station, and he sees Jimmy the crackhead walking around after he just told him to never come around here again. Because he obviously thinks he's going to come snitch on him to the police. And so you just see him go, all right, stop right there. And he just starts chasing him. He's just going crazy. And so then they take off after each other.
And I actually really like this. That was funny.
Again, all this is just funny stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing scary. Mm-hmm. And then what happens?
And then it cuts to Jimmy's perspective.
So then it cuts to Jimmy's perspective.
Cracking out in a tent in the woods.
Yeah, it's just like this is the funniest part of the movie, in my opinion. It's so funny. So it immediately cuts to Jimmy just trying to get a crack pipe lit. And he's just like, come on, man. Come on. Just going crazy on it. And then, it cuts to him walking down a road with cars. And he's just, he's on the phone just checking handles. And he's like, yo, bro, I know I owe mom a bunch of money, but I could really use it because I have a job now. Typical stuff. Trying to get money for more drugs, obviously. And he's just checking all the cars until he eventually finds a car that's unlocked, steals some girl's little kid's backpack with a little iPad, tries to go sell it. The guy's like, no. And then it's at this pawn shop where he sees the sign for $50,000 reward for all the missing kids. And so that's kind of just in the back of his mind. So obviously he needs money, so he starts poking around, and then this is when you see him go to the place where he's breaking in, and you see Paul pull up in his cop car, and he's like, hey, stop. And then basically does the whole scene again, really short, really quick, of Jimmy, getting chased, him getting punched, him waking up, and then it shows him basically being like, oh, that was weird. And then
that was weird. And then you got knocked out by the cop.
Yeah. So then I think basically it cuts maybe a day or two later.
Yeah, something.
And he's basically wandering around in the rain trying to find something, and he comes across
the main house.
The house.
Yeah.
With all the main kid, Alex.
Yeah.
He's in there. It's his house. So the crackhead's looking around, and there's newspapers covering the windows. There's newspapers that people bikes, bike kids, they toss it on this thing. They're still there, so he's obviously oh, cool. No one's home. Perfect. So this little crackhead is I'm gonna break into this house. So Jimmy, he shimmies his way up to the top floor, breaks in through the window, and he's like, okay, cool. So he just starts kind of going around picking stuff up because the kid's not there. I guess he's at school. So he starts just taking stuff, and he makes his way downstairs like, oh, wow, this is a weird place. The bedroom's locked, right? And he's like, okay. Goes downstairs, keeps going around. He goes over, starts seeing some stuff, taking some stuff, goes up to the TV.
Silverware.
Yeah. And then he's like looking at all the DVDs they have, and he's like, oh, this is sick. And
Willow.
He looks, yeah. Oh, Willow. Fire. Takes that, looks up, and he sees the two parents sitting on the couch, which is kind of like a little jump scare. And he's like, oh! And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to do that. I shouldn't be here, I know. And then he realizes that they're like not talking, not moving, not doing anything.
Give two
and he's just claps. He like walks up to him and he's like, cool. So then he just turns right back around and starts stealing stuff. And then
he makes his way to the basement, I think.
And then you hear a noise upstairs. You hear something banging around upstairs, and he's that's weird. But he keeps looking around the house, and he passes a door, and he comes back to it, and he's like, oh, I'm going to go down there. And then, at this point, opens the door, goes down to the basement, and that's where all the kids are. Mm-hmm. They're all just standing around down there, not doing anything. Mm-hmm. And he's looking, and he's like, what? And they all just turn and look at him, and he's like, oh! Falls backwards back out of the door. It was a little freaky.
That one kind of got me.
It was good. Falls back out of the door, freaking out. Closes the door, pushes a desk up against the door.
And as he's pushing the desk up, the parents then just slowly stand up from the couch and just start walking over to him without him noticing.
Yeah,
that was freaky. Good. That was a good scene.
It was a really good scene.
So then he just makes his way out, and then they slam the door behind him.
Yeah.
And then he goes, back to the pawn shop again?
Yeah.
That's when he's, like, trying to sell more stuff. And he actually sells stuff this time. But then he also sees the missing
kids poster
for, like, $50,000. Then he's like, well, I'll just go back to the police station. Or he tries to call them.
He calls them
because he doesn't want to go back to the police station because of what happened with Paul.
Yeah. And he, like, calls them, and he's like, yeah, I swear, I was in this house, and all the kids are down there. But, like, how do I get the money, though? How do I get the money? And, like, I don't really want to go to the police station, so I could just meet you guys somewhere. Obviously, they're not going to go for it. Yeah. So then he has to go to the police station, which is where he runs into Paul. And we see Paul go, hey!
He does the whole little jump back thing.
Yeah, and so you see him take off running. He runs off into the woods, back to his crack tent, and he kind of makes it back, and he's like, what? He's not going to chase me. And he like starts imitating Paul, and he's like, hey! And then he's like walking around, and then he hears something. He's looking around. Like, what is going on? And off in the distance, he like looks behind a tree, and you can see what we eventually will know is the witch. But at the time, we don't know what it is. It's just like this old lady who has too much makeup on.
It's like almost like clown.
Almost like a clown. At first I thought it was a clown. I didn't know what it was. And then like later on, you see her better, and you're like, oh. Just like a really old lady with makeup. A lot of makeup. So she's like creepily waving at him, and he's like freaked out, obviously. So he runs into his tent and zips it up, and he's like hiding. Yeah. And then you hear someone approach the tent, and he starts freaking out. So he grabs out these needles, and you see it unzip, and he just jumps out and stabs whoever's coming at him, and it's the cop. So he stabs the cop in the face with a bunch of heroin needles. Obviously, he's upset. So then he basically tries to convince him, like, hey, we have these kids in this house, and we know where they're at. We know where they're at. Like, please, if you just take me, I'll forgive everything, blah, blah, blah. And so the cop's like, all right, show me where they're at. So they go to the house. So then the cop is like, all right, you're going to stay here. And he makes like a joke, and he's like, well, how do I know you're not going to run off with the $50,000? And the cop just kind of looks at him and just walks out. He's like, get out of here. You just stabbed me in the face with heroin needles or whatever.
That's probably going to give me AIDS.
Yeah. Yeah, what he does later, he's like, do you have AIDS? Hepatitis C, anything like that? And he's just like, I don't think so, man. Yeah. So, like, it's just funny. The movie's more funny than it is.
But I'm not gonna lie, I thought like some of the humor was gonna be like dumb, and it was actually decent.
It was pretty funny.
It wasn't scary.
It's just not what you think. So, yeah, it's just not what you think it is.
Yeah. I thought it was gonna be a lot darker, but
so then they go into the house. Or the cop goes up to the house and he knocks on the door. And every time anyone's gone to this house and knocked on the door, no one's answered. So the cop walks up there, and as soon as he knocks on the door starts to open up. And the crackhead's like, bro, what? They didn't do that for me. So the cop walks in, and it's daytime, right? And the door closes, and the crackhead's like, okay. And then it cuts to nighttime, and the crackhead's in the car, like, freaking out, like, dude, come on, where are you? And so he's like looking at the house still, and it's raining, it's dark, and you see the door open up, and Paul comes walking out, but he's walking a little weird.
Then he goes into full sprint mode towards the police car.
Yeah.
And drags out Jimmy or whatever his name is.
Straight up just opens the door, drags him out of the car, classic horror movie style, where he's like sprawled out going, and he's just dragging him back up into the house, and that's the end of Jimmy that we know of for now. And then we cut to another perspective. This perspective being the principal. Basically, you just kind of get to see the different perspectives where she's talking to him, like on the phone and stuff, about like, I think it's this house. I think these parents are doing something. And he's like, quit following the kid. You're being a creep. But there's also a meeting with someone that we now get to meet who is named Gladys. And so basically the first scene with him, I think, that I remember anyway, is an opening scene with him in his office. And his like secretary comes in and is like, hey, your 2:00 appointment is here. And he's like, oh yeah, come in. And she's like, makes a face like, you remember this person? And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. And you see the old lady come in with a ton of makeup on. Like, her face is white. Her lipstick is like all over. Like the Joker. I mean, it looked like a clown at first. I thought it was.
Really trashy red-haired wig.
Yeah, really bad, like, red-headed wig. And her name's Gladys. So she comes in here and is like, oh, I'm Gladys. I'm Alex's aunt. And
they're both just freaked out. She looks crazy.
They're both kind of like he's like, all right, you can go back outside to his secretary. And she kind of gives him a look like, like, you sure about it? At this point, Gladys is talking to him. And somehow it comes up where basically because the teacher had called him, said, hey, there's some weird stuff going on. I guess he had called her in. And so he was asking her, he was like, yeah, we need to see the parents. Like, you're not actually his legal guardian, so we need to see the parents. And that's who I was hoping was going to be here today. And she was like, oh, well, they're just super sick. They can't come. I'm staying there helping take care of them now, blah, blah, blah. And so he's like, okay, well, that's weird. And at one point she looks over at like his desk and there's like these like ribbons from like his being a principal, like awards for it or whatever. And she kind of makes a comment about him and he's like, oh yeah, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. Boring stuff. And that's kind of the end of that. He basically is like, if we can't get a hold of the parents, we're going to have to call PCS and they're going to go to your house. Like, we have to get something. And if I could just go over there, if I could just see them and be quick and easy, have it done with. And so that's the end of that. So it kind of cuts along to him and his husband in their house. And
there's like watching TV.
They have like 8 hot dogs.
Oh, yeah, with carrots.
It opened with
that was disgusting.
Like 9 hot dogs laid out on a tray with a bunch of carrots and stuff. I was like, what?
Carrots and
you
hot dogs.
You see somebody like squirting mustard all over it. And I was just like, what are we watching? And then you see him like pick up the tray and I'm like, okay. So anyway, they're like in their home and they're about to eat these hot dogs. And someone knocks on the door. So the principal dude gets up, goes to the door. It's Gladys. And she's like, oh, I'm so glad you're here. I need to come inside. Can I just get some water? I'm not feeling very well. And it's so far away from home. I need yada, yada. And so he's like, no, you're not coming into my house. But then his husband is like, of course you can come in. She's just a nice old lady. And I'm like sitting there going, you're an idiot.
She literally looks like the devil. She looks terrifying.
So anyway, she comes in the house and she's like, can I get that water? And he's like, yeah, of course. And so she's like, well, I hope you haven't called the authorities yet. You know, I don't want to have to deal with this. I can schedule a meeting with the dad, blah, blah, blah. He's feeling better. And he goes to get her a cup and she's like, oh, can I get a bowl? And he's like, you want a bowl of water? What are you, a dog? No, he didn't say that. But he's like, you want a bowl of water? She's like, yeah, it's a weird habit. I just don't even think about it anymore. I just need a bowl of water. And he's like, okay. Gets her a bowl of water. And she immediately is just like, oh, I thank you. Yeah, we don't need to call the authorities. And she's like pulling this little thing out, and she starts wrapping something around this like stick. And he's like, is that my ribbon? How did you get that? And then she's like, you didn't call the authorities, right? And he starts acting all weird, like, you need to leave, you need to get out, like, this is not the time. And she basically, like, cuts herself and starts doing, like, this blood ritual where she smears the stick, and they're freaked out. And she tells the husband, she's like, can you get me a rag or something to wipe this off with? It's not a big deal, it's not a big deal. Gives him a rag, and when he does give her the rag, she, like, takes some of his hair, like, cuts it and takes it. And at that point, she snaps the twig, right? Or she wraps the hair around the twig first, snaps the twig, and the principal dude is like, hunter-killer drone engaged, turns to his husband and just starts wailing. And then like headbutt smashing into his face.
That scene was...
It was
rough.
Pretty intense. It was pretty, like, at this point in the movie is definitely picking up.
Yeah.
Because that was crazy. Like, you just, and like, there's like, it's a long scene of her like just actively doing stuff, and in the background you hear, and it's him smashing his head into the other person's head.
That was crazy. That was the first scene where it's like,
you're
okay.
Like, oh crap, all right.
It's about to get real.
Serious.
Yeah. It was pretty good. That was a good scene.
It was good.
That was a good scene.
It was good. And so then, once the husband's dead, she pulls out the hair of the teacher. And so now you're kind of like,
that's what it's for.
Got it.
Yeah.
Wraps the hair around the stick, breaks another part, and the principal dude just stops, turns towards a direction, and takes off. And you see him basically, the next scene is him just Naruto running through the streets and people being like, oh good heavens, because he's like running through them with his face all messed up from smashing his husband's face to death. Runs through the streets, and then you finally see him get to a gas station and you see Josh Brolin talking to the teacher and he's like, what's going on? And then that's when the scene plays out. He tackles her, the same thing happens again, Josh Brolin gets on him. He's like strangling Josh Brolin, and then you see her run into the gas station. The dude gets up off of Josh Brolin, runs into the gas station after her. There's a scene where he's like chasing her through the store. Josh Brolin tackles him into a freaking cooler.
Also, which was a great scene. That was a cool scene.
This whole scene is amazing in my opinion. I thought this scene was really good, and it's like mainly because it's the first big bit of action we've had the entire movie. But it's good. So all this is going on. Everything's crazy going on. And then like she manages to escape out of the building. She gets in her car. The dude's like smashing her window, but she starts to drive off. So he starts chasing after her, Naruto running after her in her car. So Josh Brolin kind of comes out of the store and he's hurt from running into him, sees him chasing after her, jumps in his truck. And it's a pretty like, it's a cool scene because the cameras are like on him. Like it's a chase scene, like really, and you feel it. Like you feel like it's intense and everything's happening really quick.
You kind of see where it's going. You kind of see like how they're kind of finally
everything's starting to kind of come together. And you're like, okay, this is it. He's chasing him down in his truck because he had made it a little ways off already, and he's like coming up on him on his truck. And right when he's about to come up to him, a car comes and bam, kills the guy.
Like a traffic light.
Kills the principal. And it's pretty gory. It's good.
It's pretty gory.
He like walks out of the truck and you see some lady like, oh my god, I killed him. And Thanos is just like perfectly balanced, as all things should be, and just kind of looks at this mush brain on the floor like, well, he's dead, and then leaves. So then him and the teacher kind of meet up at the hospital because she's in the hospital and stuff. And he had like get stitches on his arm, and she basically is like, "Thank you," and he's like, "Are you all right?" So then obviously they come to an understanding. Like he's like, "You didn't do anything to my son. You didn't know what was going on. Whatever happened." And she's like, "I've never seen anything like that." And he's like, "I have." He's like, "I've seen Naruto running before." He's like, "There's only
I used to be
2 other places I've seen it." He's like, "Weebs on the internet." And the kids that went missing. He's like, But it's probably has nothing to do with the first one. It's definitely the kids that went missing and this guy have a connection.
This is an actual line in the movie, by the way. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no. So they're like, okay. And so he then shows her his map and is like, look, these are the two intersecting lines I was talking about. And I'm just trying to figure out what's happening. And she immediately is like, that's Alex's house. And he's like, who?
Who's Alex?
Who's that? And she's like,
and the chick, yeah, the only
the
she explains to him, yeah,
that isn't missing out of my class. In scene. And then it cuts to Alex's point of view. And this is where everything kind of starts getting explained. So it starts off normal. Alex is going to school, normal day. His dad picks him up and is like, hi, sport. Meet any supermodels at school today? Typical dad-son commentary after being picked up. They go home. The mom is like, oh, hi, honey, we need you to clean your room. Oh, you don't want to clean your room? You're making a little attitude? Ooh, big deal. You need to go clean it. Your Aunt Gladys is coming. And the dad had made a joke like, I don't even think your mom knew she had an Aunt Gladys until today. Blah, blah, blah. And basically the kid's like, oh, that's weird. Okay. And goes to bed, looks out the window at night because he sees the lights pull up, and you see this old, fragile lady. It's the lady.
With her little tree.
She's got a little tree with her. They bring her into the house. The kid goes back to bed, wakes up the next day, and everything's fine the first day. Like, the parents are in the room talking like, this is kind of weird. And the dad's like, she looks like she's about to die. Like, basically, he's like, she looks like she's going to fall over any minute. I don't think we're going to have to look after her very long. And the mom's just like, yeah, it's just kind of weird. And then, anyway, they're like, normal day. And she's like, oh, make sure you don't wake up Aunt Gladys. So what does the kid do? What does the kid do?
Wakes up Aunt Gladys.
Peeps into her room.
Actually, I don't think he even wakes her up. She just doesn't sleep.
She's laying there like this.
just watching,
staring at him. And so, like, it's like a little kind of a jump scare, but not really. He, like, cracks, sees something, sees a wig, cracks, sees a tree, cracks, old lady just staring at him in the bed. So he freaks out, closes the door, goes to school. But this time, when it's time to get picked up from school, no one's there to pick him up, which is weird. So he walks home. When he gets home, his parents are sitting at the dining room table just staring at each other. Very like that. And Gladys now is all done up, like we've been seeing her all freaky looking. And she's like, oh, welcome home, Alex. I'm so glad you've joined us for tea.
Well, hello. Fancy really you're here.
And he's like, what's wrong with my parents? And she's like, nothing. And he's like, really? Throws water in the dad's face. And he's like, Dad, what are you doing? And she's like, that's not funny.
That's rude.
That's very rude of you. You're a very naughty little boy. And so she's like, do you know what happens to naughty little boys and their parents? This. And she does a little stick thing. And her parents just picked up a fork, and they both just start going, just stabbing themselves in the face. And so the kid's like, whoa, stop. That was pretty crazy.
That was bizarre.
It was pretty crazy.
That was pretty good.
And then, so she's basically like, I can control them. I could kill them. I could even make them eat each other. And I was like, Jesus, a little dark. And she's like, so you need to do what I say, or I'll make them eat each other and then kill each other. And he's like, okay. So he goes back to school, and she's basically like, don't tell anybody, or they're going to die. So he goes to school. Everything's normal. He keeps having to come home and feed his parents like soup, because they don't move. They just sit at this table nonstop. And she's like, you have to feed your parents. Every day you need to go buy soup for them so they can eat. So he's doing this, and it kind of just shows like how his life is for a little while. And it's like, dang, that's messed up. And then one day he like goes into the room that she's been staying in, and she's like all messed up looking, and her hair is like all falling out. And she's like, I thought your parents were gonna be enough, but I need more. And she's like, and he's like, well, what do you need help with? How can I help you? And he's like, you want to go to the hospital? And she's like, I don't think that's gonna work. And he's like, okay. She's like, yeah, you could help me though. And he's like, how? And she's like, I need an item from every single student in your classroom and bring them to me. And he's like, will you leave? Pretty much, he's just straight up,
will you go
you'll
away?
leave then, right? And she's like, yeah, I'll leave if you do that. And he's like,
which of course is a lie.
Right.
But
bet. So he goes to school the next day, and while they're all in gym class having fun, he sneaks off And the teacher has all the buckets, a lot of the students' names, they put their items in and stuff. And he's like, perfect. Takes all the name tags off, so he has all their stuff. The teacher then follows him in there and is like, Alex, what are you doing? And he's like, no, nothing. And she's like, if you ever need to talk to anyone about anything going on in your personal life, just remember, I'm here for you. And he's like, can I go back to gym now? And she goes, okay. And then he runs off, which is kind of a plot hole because when the cops are interrogating her from like the perspective of the beginning of the movie, at no point was she like, well, there was this one thing. He was acting kind of strange at school. He did sneak off at gym class one time. I caught him in here. And I noticed like the day after, all the name tags I put up for the students are all gone.
Yeah, you'd think she would notice that.
No one would think that that's weird. Anyway, so the kid comes back home with these name tags, gives it to the witch lady, and is like, here, I have the name tags for you. And she's like, perfect. Makes this little witch's brew with it, does some more witchy things, and basically that's where you find out he wakes up, and she's like, it's time. Does the little magic thing. All the kids start running out of their houses. You see her and him like staying outside of the house. They all are running down the street, single file, running to the house, down into the basement, and she just keeps them there. We don't really know why she does it. Doesn't really explain. It's kind of
the only hint you really get is whenever she explains to him like your parents aren't enough. Like they need more.
Yeah.
And like she's like terminally ill with like cancer probably. So I think that's kind of like the assumption is that she does it to like she's trying to like cure herself or extend her life.
Yeah, like I think so. Because like it also like you see her and like her natural hair kind of comes back more and more throughout the rest of the movie. I've noticed. Because in the beginning it was like Golem. Someone in the movie theater was like, my precious. I could hear them when she appeared on screen because it did look very Golem-esque. With like her little strands of hair and she's hunched over and she's like, I need more. I need them all. It's like, okay. Chill, Grandma, chill. So, yeah.
Like we said, bizarre movie.
Bizarre. Quite bizarre. So then, he's, what? Basically kind of just keeps going on the movie, blah, blah, blah. Kids are in the basement. He feeds the kids now, too, on top of his parents. He's a busy little boy. And then it cuts to, that's right, one day he comes home and there's a cop car in front of the house. And he's like, that's weird. Goes inside, the cop's in the house, doing the same thing his parents are doing. He's like, that's weird. Turns around, and Jimmy's there, the crackhead, doing the same thing. And he's like freaked out. And basically the grandma's like, or the aunt, she has the parents standing in front of her door now, like guarding it. And she's standing there and she's like, we're leaving tomorrow. We can't stay here anymore. Obviously because there's a cop car parked outside and people are starting to show up. And so she's like, we can't stay here anymore. And don't cross the salt line. And goes into the room, closes it. And the kid's like, okay. So then like he starts to go up to his room, starts to kind of like chill out. And then he peeps outside and you see the truck. And then you see, now we're all coming together. So then it cuts to Thanos and teacher lady talking in the truck like, so what do we do? Like there's a cop car here. The cops are here. Like, should we leave? Should we go knock? Pretty reasonable conversation, I would say. Because then she said, well, let's just go knock. And he's like, and say what? Like, what happens when they answer the door? Like, we look like weirdos. Luckily, before any of that happens, Paula Cop, the possessed version, anyway, opens the door and just kind of is like, come on in, bro. Like a marionette.
That's literally what he does.
A string or something. And they're just like,
which was kind of cool.
And she's like, oh my God, that's Paul. And he's like,
Paul who, bro?
Who? And she's like, well, we should go inside. He wants us to come in. I'm like, bro, did you not see the way he motioned you in? Something's not weird about that. If you've been sleeping with the guy, you should know this by now. That he doesn't move like that. But anyway, nonetheless, the movie has to go on. So they go into the house. And instead of Paul being at the door like, oh, hello, welcome to this house. We're actually here for the investigation of your son and your students. He's hiding in the back corner. And she's like,
it's the same thing.
Paul? And he goes, And she's like, okay. Starts walking over to him. Hi, Paul. And Josh Brolin's just kind of like, something's not right. And at this point, she goes to walk over to Paul the cop, and she steps on a salt line. And Jimmy the crackhead's like, ah, jumps out. Paul the cop's like, like a Call of Duty zombies. Starts chasing after him, and they're just freaking out, running around the house. And so basically now they're both just fighting these two people. So the kid hears all this going on upstairs and is freaking out, and he starts to like, what is going on? I'm scared. Goes over to like where the witch is, and he's gonna try to go in there, but there's a salt line, and his parents are standing there mean mugging him the whole time. So he's like, I don't know what to do. Cuts back to them fighting. She's really having a hard time with the cop. Josh Brolin is beating the snot out of Jimmy, the crackhead. However, it goes from a little eerily creepy and serious to goofy again, because Josh Brolin knocks him out, and he's like, okay. And then he just, again, and Josh Brolin's like, oh my God. Knocks him out.
And this happens about 30 more times.
Literally, this happens, I think, 6 or 7 times in a row.
Probably 8.
Because it goes from him, he like knocks him out like 3 or 4 times on the ground. And then he like walks away, and you think it's finally over. And he gets up and jumps at him. And so he like picks him and throws him. And then he's like, okay. And he goes to walk away, and he does it again. And he grabs him and he throws him. And he's like, oh my God, he picks him and he throws him again. And you think that's it, but it's not it. Because then Jimmy
does it again.
Because then he like starts to walk away, and Jimmy, he does. Remember, he tackles him.
Yeah, that's right.
He tackles him into the basement.
Oh, yeah.
So he tackles him into the basement.
That's right.
The chick is still fighting this cop, and he's like choking her out, and she's like, and he can't do anything. And so anyway, at this point, Josh Brolin is like fighting Jimmy in the basement, and he realizes like he's like on the steps looking in there, and he sees all the kids, and he's like, my son's down here. And I think that realization is kind of like the motivating force, where he's just like, I'm not doing this anymore. And he like picks the dude up, and he killed, I forgot, how does he kill him?
No, it's the lady killed him. Because remember, she was being held up by the cop. She was being held up by the cop like against like the kitchen cupboards, and she was trying to like do anything she could. But so she sneaks like her hand down and grabs his gun, and she like shoots him in the throat, but he's not fazed by it. He's still strangling her. So then she's like, all right, well, the only option now is to kill him. But she didn't want to, and so she puts the gun to his head and shoots him. So then he's dead, and so then while Josh Brolin's character is getting attacked on the stairs, she walks up behind him and shoots the other guy. So then they're both good, and then
so they're both good. The kid steps on the line upstairs trying to get to them. So then his parents just immediately literally like that, just start chasing him. So he's like, and then like Home Alone style, starts sprinting around the house like, can't catch me. Hey guys, I'm over here. Starts running around the house, and they're like chasing him upstairs like Scooby Doo. And then she does the arms stretched out, and they're like,
and she does the shining through the door. Busts her head through the door.
She does a little, here's Johnny.
She quite literally did that.
There's all that's kind of going on upstairs. And then Josh Brolin is like running through the basement like, where's my son? Where's my son? Are you my kid? No. Are you my kid? No. Are you my kid? No. Just throwing them around like,
are you my kid? And then
this, you see her like hiding in the corner like,
that was pretty freaky.
It was a little freaky.
I'm like,
that was a pretty good jump scare.
That one got me a little bit. That was pretty good.
So she jumps on him, and you see her snatch a necklace off of him.
Yeah.
And then like it kind of cuts back to the chick again, and she's like, what's going on? And she goes back to the cop and is like, I can't believe I killed him. I can't believe I killed him. And you see Josh Brolin just walking up behind her and just and just starts like strangling her, and he like tries to get his arm around her, and he's like choking her out, like trying to choke her out to kill her. And the witch lady like comes downstairs and is like, you thought you could stop me? You and your meddling kids. You thought you could end me. How dare you think that? Meanwhile, the kid's upstairs. Big brain tactics. Because now he knows how the witch works. And so he goes over to her little tree, grabs a twig while his parents are chasing him around. Like, literally, he's training the parents like it's Call of Duty. He's training him around like this room, and they're just chasing him. And as he's running around training him, he just grabs it, keeps running, goes into the bathroom, closes the door, and he's got the little twig that controls all the kids. Mm-hmm. And so what he does is he had grabbed the wig while he was also running around. So he's training the parents around. Grabs a wig, keeps running. Grabs a twig, grabs a wig and the twig wig.
I think he locks himself in the room once he
locks
around
the room, hides in the bathroom, starts what does he do?
He takes the hair off of the wig, yeah.
Wraps it around the twig, and at that point,
and snaps.
And as soon as he snaps it, the witch is like it's like a cartoon. Like she just like immediately, and she's like, I have to go. And she just starts sprinting out of the house, and you just hear the house like starts shaking, and all 18 of these kids come flying out of the basement. Naruto running after her.
Naruto running through the windows.
And the next scene is the best scene in the whole movie. It's worth watching the movie just for this scene, I think. Which is her being chased by children
through the town, or through the neighborhood,
and not like goofy, not like oh my god I'm being chased. Like they are literally like nothing can get in their path. It does
They're
not
quite
matter.
literally running through houses, like through the windows,
Like,
while the families are like eating dinner and stuff, just charging through the houses.
It's insane.
It was pretty cool.
It was absolutely insane, and the culmination of all this is the camera angle on this like little girl chasing her was sick because it's like from like a really close up perspective of like the back of her head and stuff, and she's like, I mean, it's like you ever seen videos of like cats that have like cameras attached to them or something like that? It's like it looks like a video like that, but it's of this little kid just sprinting through houses, breaking through windows, breaking down doors.
Nothing was gonna stop her,
finally
bro.
Jumps and tackles the old lady to the ground, and all the kids just surround her.
And at first they start beating the crap out of her, and then it quickly turns into like Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Just start ripping her apart.
Absolutely. Dude. Ripping her apart.
They quite literally, I don't know if we should go too graphic, but they quite literally just, warning in case it's too messed up because it was pretty violent. But they quite literally like bash her head in a little bit until she's like a little weaker, and then they just all fingers, like 2 in the eyes, like all the rest in the mouth, and just rip her skull apart.
And it shows it, and it's amazing.
It's amazing.
Whoever did these practical effects and CGI combo,
they did a raise.
Amazing.
It was
so
crazy.
amazing. And so like she's just laying in the lawn with like her limbs ripped apart,
like her body was like ripped apart. Like, it was insane.
At this point, when she does get ripped apart, it kind of makes it seem like, well, for Josh Brolin for sure, his like little spell immediately wears off, and he lets go of the teacher and stops trying to choke her out. And then is immediately like, my son, and starts following the trail of destruction that all these kids left.
That's actually pretty funny when he goes back to their house.
Yeah.
And the mom's like talking to the dad. She's like, there's something happened in the yard. And she turns around and sees him. She's like, oh my God, there's a man in our kitchen.
She runs away.
He's not even like, he's just going.
Looking.
Thanos mode.
And so then
it's pretty great.
The teacher goes upstairs to go check on Alex, and he's like holding his 2 parents, and they're hugging them. Which the little girl narrating, I think, says that they never really.
Yeah, they have to go to like a
psych
some
ward,
sort of like basically psych ward.
Because she makes a comment like, now someone else is feeding them soup every day, which is kind of and he's staying with someone else, a different aunt.
They did a really good job of like her narration, like keeping it like how a kid would explain. I thought that was kind of
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Josh Brolin obviously goes back, sees all these kids around this ripped apart old lady, does not care. Sees his son, and he's like, my son! Picks him up and just walks away. And then the little girl narrating is like, all the kids get back to their families. Most of them learn to speak again.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I think
that's
really
the
ends
end
off
of the
right
movie.
there. Yeah. It was crazy.
There is like some like weird thing, I forgot to mention it. Both times where she like takes control, she rings a bell.
Oh, yeah.
And the bell is like has a triangle and a 6 on it, which
that's what kind of triggers it. Which
we think the triangle is 3 points with the 6 for 3 6s.
Yeah.
Like some sort of link with like a demon or something like that.
Yeah.
That's the best we can come up with, but we're not really sure.
Yeah, there might be some more about that we don't know about. So if you do know about that, you've researched or something like that, please leave it in the comments because it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to know.
Yeah. Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up. You give it a...
I'm gonna stick with a 7. I think. Just
7.
It was pretty good, but the beginning, I wasn't a fan of the beginning. It just kind of like
it's just
in a weird
not
way,
what...
and then it just like, and then so that's like probably a whole point, and then the freaking M4 just above the building. That was just so weird.
Ridiculous.
And I think just overall, it was like not just like it wasn't like a peak film or nothing, but it was pretty crazy. So like it wouldn't get like a 10 obviously because it wasn't that good, but like it was still pretty good. So I think a 7 is a pretty fair score for it because I did enjoy it a lot. But
yeah,
it took a minute though for me to kind of get into it just because it was not what I think it's just my expectations. It wasn't what I thought it was going into it, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think it was what I thought it was at all. To be honest,
I thought it was gonna be like I thought it was gonna carry the tone of like being like kind of dark and like suspenseful, and mysterious like throughout the entire, which it kind of did, but like not
really,
not the way that I thought it was gonna.
Yeah,
do.
not through the whole thing. It did.
Yeah,
you know? I agree. I think it's a 7. It was a good movie, in the sense that like the ending, the stuff in the beginning is kind of like not really that good, but it all adds up to the end, and the end payout is pretty good. It's worth going to see it once just to say you've seen it. You know, if you don't want to spend the money for it, because movie tickets are ridiculous nowadays. Maybe it's worth just waiting for it to come out on stream and just. But I would recommend watching it. It's worth a watch.
Especially because, like, I think our audience kind of took away a little bit from because they were
from our personal audience.
So
you know,
definitely say that's a definitely valid thing to just wait until it comes out, maybe.
Yeah. But all right, well, I think that's going to be it. Mm-hmm. Thanks for joining. If you joined, thanks for watching all the way through, making it this far.
We appreciate y'all.
We're obviously very new. This is going to be our first video, so please. Like, comment, subscribe, share.
Yes,
We're hoping to grow and keep getting bigger and better.
And feel free to comment if you have any like tips or advice for us getting started. We'll take it. So, but you know, as always, this was just how we saw the movies. It was our experience, and of course, as you know, results may vary.